Have you ever wondered what the real price of your favorite t-shirt, phone, or cup of coffee actually is? Not the one printed on the tag or displayed on the screen, but the cost hidden beneath layers of production, pollution, and human labor. Because the truth is, that $10 t-shirt might cost the planet thousands of liters of water. That smartphone in your hand could have been built with minerals mined by children. And that cheap chocolate bar you love? It might come from farms where workers earn less than $1 a day. These are the untold costs of your everyday products, and today we're going to uncover them. Every day we buy, use, and throw away countless items. Clothes, gadgets, snacks, packaging. Without giving a second thought to where they came from, or what it took to make them. Our world runs on convenience. We want fast, cheap, and easy. But in this pursuit, we've created a system where the true costs of production, environmental damage, human exploitation, and long-term waste are hidden from view. In this video, we'll peel back the layers of 5 everyday products: a t-shirt, a smartphone, a cup of coffee, bottled water, and plastic packaging, to reveal what they're really costing us and what we can do about it. Let's start with something almost everyone owns: a simple t-shirt. The hidden cost of a t-shirt. On the surface, a t-shirt seems harmless. It's soft, comfortable, and cheap. You can grab one for under $10 almost anywhere. But behind that price tag lies a massive environmental footprint. A single cotton t-shirt requires around 2,700 liters of water to produce. That's enough drinking water for one person for over 2.5 years. Most of this water goes into growing cotton, one of the most water-intensive crops on the planet. But water isn't the only issue. Cotton farming uses heavily toxic pesticides and fertilizers that pollute rivers, destroy soil, and harm local ecosystems. And then there's the dyeing process, which often happens in countries with lax regulations. Rivers in places like Bangladesh and India literally run blue and red with chemical dyes from textile factories. Then there's the human side. Many garment workers, often women in developing countries, earn less than $3 a day, working long hours in unsafe conditions to meet global demand for fast fashion. So that cheap shirt isn't really cheap at all. It's just that someone else and the planet are paying the price. The true cost of your smartphone. Now let's talk about something almost everyone uses every day: the smartphone. It's sleek, smart, and essential. But every piece of that device, from the screen to the battery, has a story, and not all of it is pretty. The materials that power our phones, like lithium, cobalt, and rare earth metals, are often mined in dangerous, exploitative conditions. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, for instance, tens of thousands of children work in cobalt mines, exposed to toxic dust and risk of collapse just to extract materials used in batteries. Then there's the carbon cost. Producing a single smartphone generates about 80 kilograms of CO2. And when you multiply that by the billions of phones made each year, the numbers become staggering. And when we upgrade our phones every 1 or 2 years, what happens to the old ones? Most end up as e-waste, shipped to developing countries where they're dismantled by hand, often burned, releasing toxic fumes into the air. We call them smartphones, but the system that creates them is anything but sustainable. The price of your morning coffee. Your morning cup of coffee might feel like a small luxury. A few dollars for a warm boost to start your day. But the journey of that cup is long and costly in more ways than one. Coffee is grown mostly in developing countries like Ethiopia, Colombia, and Vietnam, but most profits flow to corporations in wealthy nations. Farmers at the source often earn less than 10% of the retail price of a cup of coffee. Many live below the poverty line, despite working long hours to produce the beans that fuel our daily routines. Environmentally, coffee production also contributes to deforestation and biodiversity loss. Forests are cleared to plant coffee monocultures, which degrade soil and increase reliance on chemical fertilizers. Then there's climate change, which is making coffee harder to grow. Rising temperatures and unpredictable rainfall are shrinking the areas suitable for coffee farming, putting millions of livelihoods at risk. So the next time you sip that latte, remember, it's not just caffeine in your cup. It's water, land, labor, and carbon emissions too. Bottled water, paying for what's already free. Now let's talk about bottled water, one of the most successful marketing feats in modern history. We're literally paying for something that flows freely from our taps. But beyond the irony, bottled water carries an enormous hidden cost. To make a single plastic bottle, manufacturers use about 3 times the amount of water that the bottle will eventually hold. Then add to that the oil required to produce the plastic itself, plus the fuel used to transport it across continents. Globally, we consume over 1 million plastic bottles every minute, and less than 30% of them are ever recycled. The rest end up in landfills, rivers, or oceans, where they can take up to 450 years to decompose. In some cases, corporations even extract water from regions facing shortages, selling it back to the same communities at a profit. It's a system that profits from scarcity and leaves pollution behind. So when you pick up that chilled bottle of water, it's not just refreshing, it's a microcosm of a much bigger problem: the plastic packaging problem. Finally, let's talk about something that touches nearly every product we buy: plastic packaging. It's lightweight, cheap, and convenient. And that's exactly why it's everywhere. From grocery bags to food wrappers to shipping materials, plastic packaging is one of the biggest sources of waste on the planet. Every year we produce over 400 million tons of plastic, and around half of it is single-use. Most plastics are made from fossil fuels, meaning they start their lives as oil or gas, contributing to greenhouse gas emissions before they're even used. Then, once we're done with them, most plastics aren't recycled. They're incinerated, landfilled, or dumped into the environment. Scientists estimate there are now more than 170 trillion pieces of plastic floating in the world's oceans. Microplastics have even been found in human blood, lungs, and placentas. We've literally woven plastic into the fabric of our planet and ourselves. The scary part? Every piece of plastic ever made still exists somewhere on Earth today. So, what do we do with all this information? The point isn't to make you feel guilty about buying a shirt, drinking coffee, or using your phone. It's to make us aware, because awareness is the first step toward change. Every choice we make as consumers sends a message to the companies that produce what we buy. When we choose fair trade, ethical brands, reusable bottles, or secondhand clothes, we're saying, we care about the true cost. Governments and corporations have the biggest role to play. They must create transparent supply chains, pay fair wages, and invest in sustainable production. But as individuals, we can still make a difference. We can buy less and choose better. Repair instead of replace. Support companies that prioritize people and the planet. Recycle, reuse, and refuse single-use plastic. Educate others, because change spreads through conversation. When you understand the hidden costs, you stop seeing products the same way. A shirt isn't just fabric. A phone isn't just metal and glass. A cup of coffee isn't just caffeine. Each one is a story of land, labor, energy, and sacrifice. And when we start recognizing that story, we begin to shift from being passive consumers to conscious participants in the world's economy. Because the true cost of our everyday products isn't just measured in dollars, it's measured in the kind of planet we leave behind. So next time you reach for something off the shelf, ask yourself, who really paid for this?